Hello Stitchy friends, it's Chari. Welcome back to my channel and another Flosstube video. So this is Flosstube number 12. It's been a few weeks. I thought I would have tons to share. I don't know that it's a lot. We'll see. I do have stuff to share though. I actually have 4 completely finished things over here to share. I have a couple new starts. I might even share like plans because I actually went shopping yesterday and started planning out some projects for like fall, which I'm excited about. So yeah, not too much exciting going on since I came back from my little Stitchy weekend away. I worked on some felt stitching projects this past week, or I guess I shared some this past week. I worked on them previously, obviously. There was a new release for Poshta Design, which is the dies that you cut felt with your die cut machine, and it cuts all the stitching holes. So I'm going to share my projects with you that I did this past week. I am working on videos for all those projects because I think if you're not familiar with it, sometimes it's helpful to see how other people stitch those kind of projects together. So yeah, I am going to show my finishes first. I know I usually don't do finishes first, but I don't want to put them on my desktop. I want to kind of hold them up, so we'll do those first, and then we'll move on to some haul and some new things. Okay, let's talk about the new Poshta stuff first. So there were quite a few new dies and a new homespun holiday kit. So one of the new dies is figgy pudding. This is Sweet Treats figgy pudding. I'll put links to all these below if you're interested. I always put links to everything. I know I don't always say this, but I always put links to everything I talk about if I can find a link. And I always put timestamps so you can skip ahead to the part that you want to see. So this is figgy pudding. I used a fig felt and shortbread for the top and embellished with some beads. And I think it turned out pretty cute. I've never had figgy pudding. It makes me think of John Denver and the Muppets Christmas album because Miss Piggy thinks they're saying piggy pudding. And that is the closest or the most I know about figgy pudding. Let's see. There was also a die called Peppermint Twist, and it's a candy cane and peppermints. I only made peppermints, and I put them in cellophane so that they look like real candies, which I think is cute. Now, these don't have a hanger. I think given the cellophane, you could just tuck it into a tree and it would stay. These would also be cute as like a bowl filler, or kind of tucked into a tiered tray or something like that. I did not make a candy cane, but that die also makes a candy cane. Then she had 2 new dies that go with the basic star shape. This one is, I just made 2 little ornaments, embroidered snowy star details for this one. And I made red stars because I have lots of red on my Christmas tree and in my Christmas decorations. And then I just stitched the details with white and added all the beads and embellishments, and then the details in the middle are done with some silver embroidery thread, and then the little one matches. And then the other star one that came out, which I have to go grab, was the folk art star. Now I made like a wall hanging kind of situation here, so it's hard to see all of it, but there is a die that cuts out the details with all the openings, and it also cuts out that little bitty star that you can layer in the center. So here's a couple of the other ones. So I did 3 big ones and then 2 little guys. And it's kind of a Christmas in July release, but I like to show that could be used all year round. I mean, it's just a folk art kind of Scandinavian style. The big thing that got released was the Homespun Holiday Beautiful Bells kit. Here's one of the bells I made. Now this, I keep calling him the reject bell. He's really just a bonus. I made 3, but he didn't work with my final big project, so he's just kind of extra. And then this was my big project. Get my little string that I hang it from out of the way. Get back. So I have the bells in the middle, and then these stars are from the snowy star details, and then these two small ones were the inside piece of the folk art details. So get closer so you can see the details of my little bells. I love this one right here with the little vines that come down. I think these were my two favorites in the set as far as the details go, but there are lots of different things you can add to the bells. So those are all the things that I made for the Poshta release that I recently shared on Instagram and on my blog, and there is a video for the wreath, and then hopefully I can get a video for all the other projects soon. Great. Good morning. It's a new day. It's a new outfit. Power went out, so I don't even remember what I said before. So I know I got through my felt stitching stuff, and I think that's all I did. So yeah, we'll just do this in our normal order of haul first, new starts, whips, finishes. I like to do it in that order because that's the order in which the process happens, right? We buy the stuff, we start, we work on it, we finish. So we'll do it in that order. Yeah. Let's get started. Okay, just a little bit of stitchy kindness before I move on to my haul. My sister Stacy went to Boston and Salem. A whole week she spent up in Massachusetts area, and she got this for me in Salem. We are big Hocus Pocus fans. We love the movie. We could probably recite it word for word if we had to, but she found this little cross stitch kit in Salem in one of the shops, and she brought this back for me. It has a little hoop in it. It has some Aida. It has some really bright floss, which is like the color of their hair. And then it has a little tiny book that kind of talks about cross stitch basics, supplies, and then there are 4 patterns in the back, which I will show you. There is a muck, a muck, a muck. This one's funny. The vacuum, the mop, and the broom. Their hair, which these are tiny. I'm gonna have to blow it up if I want to stitch one. But this is the one I like the best. I'll probably stitch this one that says, "I put a spell on you." But I'm assuming that the Aida that they put in here, oh, there's like 4 little pieces. I didn't even realize that. Oh, is there 4 little pieces? Let's see. Three pieces. So they give you 4 patterns, but they give you 3 pieces of Aida to stitch, I guess, 3 of the patterns on. And then there's a little hoop that I assume that they all fit in. I guess we'll see whenever I decide to stitch on. And there's needles in there too. So basically a full little kit. That would be a good little gift to someone starting out stitching that really loves Hocus Pocus. I bet you could find this somewhere else. I feel like this is one of those things you could find in Barnes & Noble, maybe. I don't know how they have all those little kits. Anyway, so that's the Hocus Pocus cross stitch kit that Stacy brought back from Salem for me. So I think that's super cute. Okay, now on to hauls. So when I was at the lake, we went to Cecilia's, but I was looking for some things that I didn't find there. This is one of them. Stitch Some Happy by Hands On Design. So while I was there, I just placed a 1, 2, 3 stitch order for the few things that I was looking for that I didn't find. So I'm looking forward to stitching this up. I did get some of the Flax, which is what this is stitched on, but I might change it up. I will probably change up the colors to match my room a little bit better, my craft studio. But I'm looking forward to stitching this one. I think this will be a fun little finish in the hoop too, which I haven't done one quite like this. This was also in my cart, which is smoke blue linen. I just went ahead and left it in there. Wasn't sure why I had it in there, but it's a small piece. I also picked up Little House Needleworks American Petites. Lori, my friend Lori, gave me a little finishing piece last time we were at the lake, and I haven't used it yet. She finished this little one on it, and that's the one I want to stitch. So I picked that up as well. And then I also picked up this one, which I had seen shared on Facebook. And this is actually a kit with a floss. It doesn't have the fabric, but I did buy some fabric because I also went to Sassy Jack's on Saturday and spent way too much money. So I picked that up as well. Then I went to Sassy Jack's on Saturday. It is on the same side of town and just down the road from the comic book store that my husband goes to. So I drove and dropped him off, and then I went shopping. I went to Sassy Jack's, and I also went to a new fabric store that's literally across the street, which I had not been to. So I got some trims, some Lady Dot Create chenille sizzle, and then this is some mini pom-poms. I don't have any mini pom-poms, so I picked this color up. I think this might work for some projects. I was looking for some purple chenille, but they didn't have any, so I placed an order for that, so hopefully that will come. I also picked up this chart. I was flipping through the Plum Street bin and saw it, and it made me think of my friend Jen, who lives on Cape Cod. So I like the images. I'll stick this in my stash to stitch at some point. And then when I was at the register, these were laying there, and I just thought this was really cool. There is one for every state. I did look it up. If you go to threadmilkdesign.com, you can find all the states. But I kind of want to stitch this and tuck it in with the patriotic Americana stuff too. I might change this part in here to be some back stitching because it says B, not seam, but the actual phrase is longer than that. Hold on. The state, let me find it. The state motto, couldn't think of the word motto. It's to be rather than to seam. So I think if I change it to back stitching, I might be able to write the whole thing. We'll see. I just thought it was kind of cool. It was definitely a impulse buy at the register. It was literally laying there, and I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. It's a North Carolina stitch that's not, you know, a bunch of pictures. I like when it's text. And then there was the fabric. So I knew that they had Fox and Rabbit Saltbush, which I ordered 36, and then I was like, you know, I'm gonna go get some 42 because I don't know who I've become, but you're going to see another project that I have stitching on 40, and I really like it. I like how little bitty it is. I like stitching with one strand, and I really like this color, so I got some 40 in that. And then before I went, was looking at some fall stitches that I want to stitch. So I made a list of kind of ideas of fabric for different things. This is 36 count. Black Swan by Fox and Rabbit. And I do have a project I want to stitch on this one. I don't think I'm ready for 40 in a black. Then I saw this, which I fell in love with. It's called Eastwick, and it has such cool modeling on it, and I think this would be really cool for a Halloween stitch. This is 40 count Eastwick by Needle and Flax. So I picked that up. I've already decided what I want to stitch on this, which is a chart I've had for a while. And then I also got, this one is 40 40 count Flannel Flower by Fox and Rabbit. I like that it's kind of this creamy color, but not too yellowy. And it does have some really nice modeling in it. And I already have a plan for this as well. So if we talk about plans, I'll show you what I'm planning to stitch on this. So this is why I spent a bunch of money. I got a bunch of fabric. Oh, and they also, because they just had their grand opening like last week, I think it was like a week long. Someone has made this free chart. The Baird house is the historic house that Sassy Jax is in. And so they had this free sampler that someone created of the house, and then the years, that was when it was built. This was when they renovated it. And so I thought that was kind of a fun little freebie gift that they gave us. They also gave me a pin and some chapstick, which, you know, I'm always for some little freebies. So, but that is all of my haul. So I completely was done filming, and then I went outside and checked the mail and had another package. So I am going to insert this into the haul and show you what I got so that I can put it away and sort it out into the to-do and, you know, kit it up or whatever. So first thing I got was the USA Star Ornament from Teresa Kogut. I'd seen this before and I was waiting patiently for it to be released for purchase for everyone. I think it was like a Patreon thing at one point perhaps, but I just think it's really cute. I've never made a star shape, so I'm looking forward to doing something different. And then my friend Heather shared this in our text group that she picked up, and I just thought it was so cute. I fell in love with it quickly. There is a third scissor fob pattern as well, or I should say a third pattern, which is a scissor fob. So I picked that up, and I also picked up the call for fabric, although this seems really dark, so I don't know that I'll be stitching on that. Yet to be seen. And then since the drawn thread was kind of new to me, that sent me down a rabbit hole of looking at their patterns, and I added this one to my cart as well. Now there is one for every season. This is obviously autumn, which autumn is always my favorite. I'm very intrigued by the leaves because I don't know if you can tell, they're like long stitches, so instead of cross stitches. I also like the idea, at least with this one, that you could do just the house and the word autumn if you wanted with the tree. But there is one for every season, so hopefully you can see that there. I like this image of them all stitched together. I think that's really nice, which would be a really nice big piece if you wanted to work on. I also like summer, so I might think about doing summer. Might think about doing all of them. I don't know. We'll see. This was the one that I really liked. And here is kind of an image with just the house. So I thought that would be an option too if I don't want to do it as a sampler. Although I like that there's like leaves and, let me flip it back over, leaves and the little crow and everything in the letters. You know, I think about doing all 4 seasons, but it doesn't look to me like all of them are as easy to just kind of cut in half and do the house. But anyway, this was new to me. I picked it up. I also picked up, these are all the threads minus 1 for this chart. So they were all Gentle Arts threads, so I want to pick those up. I think walnut was the one missing. I also got tartan plaid because I've seen it in another chart. My friend Lori was stitching with it. It's really pretty, so I wanted to add it to my stash. And it actually looks really good with this color palette, so maybe I'll figure out a way to work it into this one, or maybe do this color palette for a different project, but I think that's really pretty there. So yeah, I'll just add this into my haul so I can now put these things away into my stash and make some plans for more fall stitching. Okay, I have 2 new starts. I actually have some extra new starts that finished, which is the exclusive stuff from Chantel that I just can't share yet. But this one is Souvenirs of the Heart by Brenda Gervais. This is the Star Spangled Spectacular House. This is stitched 1/1, and I am not doing that. I am stitching 1/2 on a 40 count. but look how teeny tiny it is. I love it so much. I am changing the house up a little bit, as you can see. If I had filmed this before the power went out, you would have only seen the chimneys and the top line of the roof. I stitched all that yesterday, along with some other things. But I'm making some design changes to the house. I added a roof line here. I pulled this side in so I have a little bit of an overhang. I'm changing the window shapes a little bit, and I'm making that quilt block just a bit smaller. The architect in me was struggling with this house, and I needed to make some changes. So this is Souvenirs of the Heart, Star Spangled Spectacular by Brenda Gervais, and I think it's turning out super cute. I am probably not going to stitch this stuff on the bottom or the side. I haven't decided yet. I may stitch the side and leave the bottom off, but I really like what's happening here so far. This project is why I bought more 40 count fabric to stitch some projects on. And here are I'm using all the called for colors for this project. Miss Liberty from Teresa Kogut. This is from the Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine. I saw this. I don't get the magazine. I saw this. I loved it so much. I bought the digital copy for this one issue and just printed it out. This is stitched on 40 count. I'm not stitching mine on 40. I wanted it a little bit bigger. And here is my start on her. She is stitched on 32 count linen, one more reproduction by Be Stitch Me. That is the fabric. And again, if I had filmed before the power went out, you would have just seen some red and white lines that weren't even finished. So I finished the flag and got down to start on her arm and her dress. So those are my new starts. My only other whip I have to share right now that I've made any progress on is the Honey of a Tiny Town. I think last time I might have been over to here, so I've stitched this and I've come back over to work on this roof. So I'm coming along. I am almost to this end, and I'm working on this last house roof. That's where I started. So I don't have a lot more to go. I've been distracted with patriotic stitches, so that's what I've been doing. But this is stitched on 32 count Cottage Stone by Color and Cotton. There's my fabric. And it is all the called for floss. So here's all my floss. This is why I think I'm going to pick one of these pretty blues or greens that's not used a lot and stitch the house at the end instead of white in one of those colors. Okay, let's talk finishes. I have quite a few to share. First one I'm going to share is one of the Plaid All Year or Mad for Plaid. This is from Hands On Design. This is the 4th of July. And it's just on the Edge board from Chantel 141 Design Company. And it's just held on with a magnet. I actually finished stitching this last year in June when I was at the lake. Actually coming back from the lake, I was working on it in the airport. But I just fully finished it this year and got it on my board just in time for the 4th of July. But this is going to stay up for a while because I haven't stitched the summer one. I haven't even started it. I have autumn started, so quite possibly this might stay on here till autumn. So it's fine. I like it. The little pillow that's tucked in here, we made a whole bunch of these at the lake last year. It was like a group project. These little firecrackers, they came from Etsy. I'll link them below because they're super cute. There was like a whole bag of 9 of them in different styles and different sizes, and I loved them so much when they showed up, I bought another bag. And then, of course, the little, like, stars, I have these tucked in everywhere. They just came off Amazon. It was a pack of red, white, and blue ones. So this is the Hands-On Design Plaid All Year 4th of July. And the On the Edge board from Chantel's 141 Design Company. So I will put links to all this below. I think I said that when I recorded earlier. I don't even remember. All right, my next finish is Hands-On Design Liberty Pennies. You're going to see a theme in all the finishes. I did do a video tutorial for this if you have not already seen it. Basically to show you kind of how I did the finishing, like the painting. I used like 2 different colors of paint. I used some distress ink. I distressed it with sanding. I do not have mine glued in the base so that I can take it apart and pack it away flat. So yeah, this is Liberty Pennies. So this is Hands-On Design. I picked my own colors. You can see that in a previous Flosstube. And I stitched this on color and cotton denim bold instead of the called for charcoal color. So yeah, and then of course the little pin and the ribbons. So I'll put a link to that tutorial as well. I have another round one that I actually filmed the finishing of my painting, but it has not become a video yet because it's a little different. It's got some crackle going on. And this is Botanical Bee. Again, this one is not glued in, but when it's sitting, it's not gonna do this. When it's sitting displayed, it'll stay in there really nicely because it's tight enough. So this is the Hands-On Design Botanical Bee. It was stitched on 32 count Juniper Lucana. I pulled my own colors for this one as well. It's all color and cotton, pretty sure. All the details about this one are in some previous Flosstubes as well. I know I listed them in the description, the video description. But I finally finished this one too. Now both of these rounds are the basic round from 141 Design Company, which I really like, and it fits this perfectly. So yeah, I was waiting to finish this one because if you remember last time I said I was waiting on my cording tool. It finally arrived. I did remember what Nicole taught me at the lake about how to make cording. It was a little messy at first. I kept getting tangled, but it worked out and I got my cording around there. I just couldn't find a rickrack that matched well enough to my liking. So I did the custom cording because there's a whole lot more DMC colors to pick from to make cording than there are rickrack colors. But hopefully you can see that cool crackle finish, and hopefully I can get my video edited and put up at some point to show how I did the painting. Then my other big finish is I finished the Hands-On Design Summer Folk. This one's very long. I have to hold it way back here. This is on here with magnets. So I pulled off Spring Folk and I finished Summer Folk, got it mounted. I don't remember the details about the purple fabric, but I will find them and put them in the description below as well. And Coraline Rickrack, I did finish off the top on this one. I never got around to that with spring. So these are some little felt flowers. I made these with a die from Benzie Design with the little yellow pom-pom. And then the leaves are from a Poshta Design, I think it's Gathered Flowers die set, but I just got a really nice cut with that, and I could add a little stitching detail. Hopefully you can see that. And then I threaded these onto a piece of thin twine. Actually, let me grab it really quick. It's this. It's like a jute twine. Because the big twine, I guess, the thicker jute is tied on there, and I was going to leave that on there for all seasons, and then I can just untie the flowers and take them off and put something else on there for the other seasons. So Summer Folk is done. Let me grab Spring Folk. Here's Summer Folk, Spring Folk, and now I'm looking forward to Autumn, which will be next, and there will be a stitch along for Autumn as well. So stay tuned for details on the Autumn Folk Sal, probably some details in August, because I think that Kathy said she was reaching out to shops mid-July, so it'll probably be later in July before we can get our hands on it. So yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out. So there are all my fully finished things. I was hoping to get the little Cherry Hill Stitchery things turned into pillows for my decor before 4th of July, but that didn't happen, unfortunately. And then the power went out yesterday, so it didn't happen yesterday either. But soon. I feel like I can work on patriotic stuff all month. Oh, I do have one more finished thing to share, so I'm going to have to insert a picture. But I did cut out and sew together the quilt top that I had mentioned previously, and I was like, if I mention it, I'll be held accountable. Well, it is complete, so here is a picture of it, and it turned out so pretty. It is huge. I had to pin it to my front porch to take a picture of it, but I love it. So now I need to get my backing piece together and get that off to a quilter so it can be quilted. I'm actually really looking forward to doing another patriotic quilt. Like I said, I can stitch patriotic all summer. It's fine. I am going to briefly talk about plans. This is another pattern from the Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine. This is a Crocetta a Go-Go. I really liked this one too. I haven't started this one, but my plan for this one is to stitch it on this 40 count mallow that I'm stitching this one on. So it'll be nice and little. I think that would be really cute. So that is in the to-do pile. Also plans this one that I showed earlier. I want to stitch it on that Saltbush by Fox and Rabbit. I think that those colors would look really great on this fabric. And so that is the plan for that one. The other plans, pull out my, this is my plans project folder here. This guy, I want to stitch this one from Liz Matthews, and this one I want to stitch on the flannel flower. I think that would be really pretty. And I went ahead, because there's not a lot of colors in this one, I went ahead and looked in my stash and pulled out some colors. So there's 3 orangey colors to make the pumpkins. There is a color called Blackboard to me in this. It looks purple. So I pulled a purple. This is Hemlock. Coal is called for the cats and the bird. And then I pulled a brown for the stems of the pumpkins. So this is my plan for Boo by Liz Matthews. Are these colors that I pulled from my stash on the flannel flower, and I think it will be really pretty. So there's the plan for that one. This is the one that I want to stitch on the Black Swan. Yeah, Black Swan. See, I told you I had plans for all these. So that is why I picked that one up. I haven't pulled any of the floss yet Most of it's DMC, so I'm not too worried about it. That's easy. So that is, I want to do that one this year for Halloween. And this one, which I don't have floss pulled for, I've had this for a little while. This is the one that I think would look really cool on this Eastwick with all the modeling. I mean, don't you think that this witch would look really cool on that? I do. So that is the plan for her. I think that might be all the ones I actually have plans for. I pulled a couple more out that I want to stitch. I really want to stitch this one. But I think I might, it's Classic Colorworks. I think this might be one where I look in my color and cotton stash and pull some colors, because when it's only, you know, 5 colors, 6 colors, it's really easy to kind of pull some stuff and make it look good. So that's in the to-do pile, but I haven't figured out floss or fabric just yet. So yeah, those are the things that I sat down and figured out some plans for. So we've got some spooky stitching coming our way before too long. So I'd love to hear what kind of Halloween stitches you want to do this year, or fall stitches. I have plenty. Of course, we all have more stitches than we could possibly stitch, but I am looking forward to these. I'm excited about these now. I was excited when I bought them last year, but now that I've got some fabric and some plans, I'm more excited to get started on them. Okay, giveaways. In my last Flosstube, I had the giveaway of the 3 Primrose Cottage stitches. I thought they were upside down for a minute. Patriotic charts, vintage country mocha to stitch those on, and coordinating floss. And the winner was Brenda Johnson. I'll put your comment there, and if you could just send me an email to the email below, I will get that out to you. Today's giveaway, also actually before I get into today's giveaway, the last giveaway, which was the Windows of Time, the 3 charts, that person has not contacted me yet. I did respond to her comment on YouTube, but if I don't hear from her in the next week or so, I'll pick a new winner. Anyway, all right, and then today's giveaway is going to be bee themed. So we have the Primrose Cottage Honeybee Quaker chart. This is going to come with the floss pack and the finishing kit for the pillow. And then because I don't like to give you something without the fabric to just start the project, and I don't have white, which is what this is stitched on. This is stitched on 25 count white. I don't have any of that in my stash to pull out, so I pulled out this very pale gray. This is Whisper. This is a 28 count Lugana, so I am going to throw this in there too, and I think that this would look pretty good with those floss colors too. So Honeybee Quaker, matching floss, pillow, finishing kit, and some Lugana. And please be 18. Please live in the US, and the keyword to use for this giveaway is going to be honeybee. So please put that somewhere in your comments and I will pick a winner. Okay, so for the honeybee giveaway, Honeybee Quaker giveaway, please leave a comment before, we're gonna say June 21st. I always like to give a cutoff. That way I don't know when I'm going to film my next Flosstube, but I know that it'll be after that. So June 21st. Please leave a comment by then if you want to be considered for that giveaway. And I think that's all for today. Thank you so much for spending a little time with me. I really appreciate you taking some time out of your day, because everybody's time is valuable. But I appreciate you coming and spending a little time with me. And I love reading all your comments, and I try to respond to everyone. Yeah, I think that's all for today. And thank you so much for watching, and have a great stitchy day. Bye.